Hello and welcome. My name's SlayerKey and I'll be your guide. The story today is of Dancraft, a server from 2012 that started with nothing but a stone sphere for a spawn, that grew into a home for thousands of players to interact with daily. Let us go back. The year is 2015. You just got home from another boring day at school. You swing open your door, toss your backpack to the side, hop on your bed, laptop in hand, and open up Skype. Hey dude, you wanna play some Dancraft?
That whack nose looks like a chicken nugget. I bet all the
If you've played Minecraft, you probably have that one server you could always rely on. A place to hop on and relax after a draining and slow day of school. You talk with your friends and play till late, or when your parents whipped out the ruler stick. For most, the server was Hypixel, Batline, HiveMC, or even MC Dreams. For me, it was a place named Dancraft. But what was Dancraft, and what made it so special to over 1 million visitors? Dancraft was made in October of 2012 by a 14-year-old boy named Daniel with a unique taste for names. Dan used World Edit to create a stone sphere for spawn and called it a survival server. In just 2 months, Dancraft hit 100 players online. Dan then added more minigames like Kit PvP, Skywars, and Factions. This became known as V1. He used what little money he had made from the server purchasing banner advertisements and Minecraft server listing websites. This helped Dancraft find many of its players. As the server began to grow, Dan realized it needed an upgrade and released V2. For V2, Dan completely redesigned the Factions and Skyblock spawn. Factions became this medieval castle with PvP gates in each direction, and Skyblock was now an island floating in the air, with a shop, PvP area, and enchantment table that was only for donators. But if you crouched on the very edge, you could actually sneak around the border and use it. There was also the addition of Creative, Dan Games, Prison, and a few other modes. The community started to grow, and soon Dancraft became the starting point for many relationships and a home for many more. Everyone was able to find their own little group, whether it be the role players and Creative, the sweats and Factions, or the casuals and Skyblock. But the server itself began to form a shadow. A few players started breaking a few rules here and there. Hacking, abusing bugs, maybe even DDoSing a little. When you see those same people every day not being punished, you come to realize that the rules mean nothing when there's no enforcement. This realization snowballed. Players who once paid hundreds of dollars for their ranks joined in on the fun, and before you knew it, Dancraft became the second oldest anarchy server in Minecraft. You'd head to Gate 2 and you'd see 2 donators flying with kill aura, swinging around each other like it's some Dragon Ball Z battle. Dancraft was in complete disarray. Something as simple as revoking one permission to stop donators going into God mode in the middle of a fight took months to fix. And I mean, this was a server with hundreds of players, many of which paid hundreds of dollars for ranks. And you're probably wondering, why didn't anyone do anything? And that's because there was simply just no owner, no staff, no one to help. So many of the community members would volunteer their time to help out the server, but Dan didn't want player staff, and he also didn't want to moderate Dancraft himself. There were many promises made that left players disappointed. Updates that always seemed to get delayed, and additions like custom biomes and an anti-cheat that would look attractive in an update post, but when released were not at all functional. This was mostly due to the disconnect that Dan had with the community. He was sort of like a babysitter who threw hundreds of kids into a server and then let them roam free so he could do other things. Whenever he was online, everyone got excited. They'd run over and take a screenshot, tell their friends about it, but looking back, he was never really there. He'd always be right next to spawn or some warp, and he'd just AFK there a bit before leaving in silence. Eventually, Dan did add player staff, and surprisingly enough, the server got cleaned up. Hackers were banned, the forum posts had feedback, and there was actual interaction between the server and its players. A once-in-a-lifetime sight for a Dancraftian. Their eyes twinkled for what was a glimmer of hope for the future of their favorite server. The community grew closer than ever. Dan created a TeamSpeak server so players could now chat without the fear of getting resolved on Skype. Dan would even join himself from time to time and actually talk with the players.
You tell me you thought that on the spot right then?
But Dan did eventually disband the staff team for reasons he's not too sure of. There was still moderation on the forums from both Dan and Cubs, and out of 4,000 reports, 95% had a response. They were doing good work, but the server was still dying. Dedicated players for years made posts saying they're quitting the server forever. But why? Isn't this what they wanted? Well, let's look at some of the posts to find out why they're leaving. Too many hackers. Not enough staff. Dancraft is no longer fun. It's boring. They all pretty much say the same thing. This was the beginning of the end. With only forum moderation, cheaters re-emerged. More of the community lost hope and quit, and the player count was hitting record lows. For once, Dan took notice. He had one idea to win back the players. He had plans to do a complete revamp of Dancraft, with promises of changes based solely on community feedback, and an update that bring back the old map and a revamp of the current map. A complete rebrand of Dancraft, introducing a new hub, a merge with another server, and an update scaled similar to earlier versions of Dancraft with dates all set in stone. Well, maybe. He tried working harder than ever, developing plans, updates, and fixes. This last-ditch effort looked attractive and brought back many players excited for what was yet to come. Dan released a new update on the forums on the day he promised, May 18th. This introduced a bounty system and some quality of life changes for all modes. This update was pretty nice, but the feedback was not. A week later, Dan released an update. No, not an actual one. An update letting players know the previous dates were not set in stone, and new dates would be announced at a later time. A week passes, then another, and another. And then out of nowhere, the new update is posted by Dan. There's a new command to convert your golden nuggets into ingots, and also how Dancraft is no longer a profitable venture and will be shutting down, yada yada. So, a server that was once flourishing with thousands of players now sits at a measly zero. The store disabled and rebrand canceled. Dancraft is now at its official end. Dancraft is now run solely on the funds of Dan, and he hopes to keep Dancraft up forever. I'm grateful for all the familiar faces I saw come back when I started to work on this project. Dancraft will always be a memory I cherish, but although strive for one, there is no future for Dancraft. In the description, there will be resources on Dancraft if you want to learn more. Most interestingly, a sheet filled with player descriptions by players themselves along with their favorite memories of the server. Thank you for listening, watching, and sharing all your stories. Till next time.